rate pressure, economists say the job market remains resilient. Analysts now expect the U.S. Federal Reserve may cut interest rates again in September, though Federal Chair Jerome Powell said the bank will wait for more data before making that decision. President Donald Trump, however, publicly called for Powell to resign over what he views as delays in rate cuts. Well, that's news to the hour on WESN. I'm Naomi McNish. Thanks for watching.
WESN.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond to me. Respond to me. How you would respond to me?
The first question I'll ask is why.
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah. Right. So here we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
Hi, I'm Claudette, radiographer at the radiology departments at the community hospital. We offer high-quality service with state-of-the-art equipment in X-ray, ultrasound, CT, and mammogram. Come, our friendly staff awaits you.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
Where good private health care is affordable.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug. You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God, so we cannot a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim,
right,
or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
This is Face of Sports, WESN Content Capital. How you felt about the kiss on the lip?
That's the business. I'm not to do with that.
I find that was distasteful.
The national senior team, whether you like it or not, that is the model for all other teams to follow.
I'm assuming that the regional requirement may be a much stricter requirement.
This is not about Pro League and Super League. This is a league run by the Normalization Committee that I'm responsible for.
Nobody expected FIFA to fund this arrangement.
If we don't get a professional attitude towards this, we are doomed for failure.
You break the balance, trip the leg, control the body.
They ain't gonna stand put forever.
Why you want the Chiefs to lose so? Why you want the Chiefs to lose so?
They already have two. Lamar don't
Why?
have.
You're jealous because you know the Chiefs getting closer to the Patriots. Let's go to the last part.
No,
of this game.
not no.
Let's go to the last part.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
As always, we appreciate you starting your day with us. Let's get into this morning's first conversation.
Is the country's healthcare system more at risk more than ever?
Why it has remained unaddressed for so long.
Political parties get lots of cash, big cash from financiers, and then when they get that now, you can't account for it.
But it's really the specialist nurses who we are in a greater shortfall for.
We can tap into the resources and have them, at least form some mentorship programs.
Highlight our food systems, and which will attract persons from all over the world to come and experience something that actually supports the local economy.
We're lucky that we have a vibrant legal system that allows change to take place, and it's not that matters are just swept under the carpet and discrimination is allowed to be perpetrated.
A lot of people don't know that there were attempts to ban the carnival, suppress the carnival.
This is 10 Questions. I'm Andy Johnson. The distance from where we should be in the world in going forward on our commitments with climate change.
The effects of climate change that cannot be accounted for. It's called loss and damage, and we're seeing loss and damage happening so much more in this decade and the previous decade.
The principal term there was this question of the correspondent banking issues.
That is why we're trying to build capacity with this country here, Trinidad and Tobago, and other countries in the region. Man is not showing any signs of stopping or even slowing down. More than half of the forest in Trinidad is already gone.
All the plants and all the animals and all of the nice clean water and fresh air and everything had to be on this planet for humanity to have a chance.
We have small change when it comes to countries that can take decisions, and when they speak, the world listens.
The General Assembly is a very democratic forum. And Trinidad and Tobago has the same vote as Canada, in spite of the obvious difference in size.
FanZone, your reliable, authentic supplier, has just gotten better. You can now visit our website www.fanzonett.com for your authentic wear and collectibles. The only place where you can use both your Visa debit and credit cards. Visit our website fanzonett.com to make your purchase today.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Take some time for yourself or spend some time with the family at Sandy Point Village Hotel. Enjoy our various studio and suite apartments, self-contained with their own kitchenettes and Wi-Fi. We also have our famous 100-foot swimming pool and our beachfront restaurant, the Steak and Lobster Grill. And our location in Crown Point puts us near the center of activity from the nylon pool to the local nightlife. Call us and make your reservations at 639-8533, 389-2378, or email us at sandypointvillagehotel@gmail.com.
There are limitations in all healthcare sectors, not just this country, where the numbers will surpass the amount of doctors and nurses to provide that quality care. We're talking about holding a patient's hand, giving them the support, the emotional support that they need, advice. That gap, you are providing that pivotal gap, so that really makes you stand out from all other NGOs as far as my experience goes.
Yes, I actually go into the homes also of the patients.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
In this mode now, you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit, and then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
We believe in different criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploited the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
Our award-winning show is back, and this season promises to be even more exciting than before. What's Up, Doc isn't just a title, it's a call to action for anyone who wants to improve their health and well-being. Join us on this thrilling ride towards better health on WESN Content Capital.
WESN.
I'm Naomi McNish, and my co-host Jada McLeod will be joining me shortly via Zoom. But until then, we're starting with our first conversation. This July, one of Trinidad and Tobago's most beloved choral ensembles, the Lydians, invites us to experience the light within a spiritual celebration. So we're going to talk about that upcoming event. And joining us to talk about it, Siobhan Brathwaite, the musical director, and Astra Noel, captains Lydians Steel. So good morning and welcome to the program.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you guys this morning?
Doing pretty good. Doing pretty good. Can't complain.
Oh, lovely. Okay. So what inspired the theme, The Light Within, a Spiritual Celebration, and how does it reflect in the music selected for this specific event?
Okay, so the theme, The Light Within, a Spiritual Celebration, kind of comes from a tradition that we have in the Lydians. Ever so often, maybe on a biannual basis, we will do a spirituals concert. And usually the music that we will perform at these concerts are usually folk-based spirituals and strictly religious music. So in having conversations, discussing, well, what are we going to do for our mid-year concert? This year, the idea of a spirituals came up because 2 years ago, we did a spiritual concert called Roots, the Rhythm Within. So we started looking at music, and then while conceptualizing the show, I decided, well, let us focus on light, because there's quite a bit of darkness in the world right now. So therefore, let's focus on light. Let's not only focus on the light of God, but also the light within us. And the program is basically structured in such a way to have that conversation about not only looking towards the light of God, but also finding the light within, tapping into that, and using it to do good in the world.
Nice. So, I mean, based on what you're saying, the event is one of it will take the audience on a spiritual journey, emotionally, and these sorts of. So, what do you hope that the audience gets out of it at the end? When they come.
Renewal, rejuvenation, and encouragement to not to go out into the world and be a light. In your own special way. So that's why I think it's really important that this concert is being used as a fundraiser for the Mary Care Home, whose light, has been somewhat dimmed by their property being destroyed by fire. So therefore, while we, go through that journey of meditation and finding light within, we are also using our creative energy to help rekindle their light as well.
Right. From what you said just now, with the Mary Care home, that's in Woodbrook, so all proceeds are going toward the rebuilding of the home, yes?
Yes, indeed.
Right.
So therefore, the estimated cost to rebuild the home is about 3 million. So therefore, the Lydians, we are doing our part by trying our best to help contribute towards that cost. So therefore, every dime we make from this concert will be given to the home. So therefore, that's why we're really encouraging persons to come out, fill out the church, so therefore we can give them a hearty donation.
Can you tell us more about the home, and why the Lydians chose to support it?
Sure, Asha, you want to chime in, because I don't want my steel captain to this bit.
No, I'm waiting because I know you were describing things. So good morning again. I'm Astra Noel. I'm the Lydian Steel captain. So I am bringing part of the other side of the equation to this. Of course, we have the choirs, and then I'm representing the steel band that will be playing. And as we were speaking about the home, the Mary Care home, it's really a haven for young women and children. And in this society today, and the way things are going, we at the Lydians thought it's so important that similarly, actually, we mirroring some of what we do in Lydians in terms of nurturing young people and nurturing young talent. And why not reach out to an organization that is doing the same thing, maybe not in a cultural way, but certainly in a social, in a socially important way, and that is a worthy cause. Is really worthy of everyone's help and attention. And as part of our mission in the Lydians is to comfort and uplift people with music. So that we can, use our gift and our talent to help them as much as possible. And as Siobhan pointed out, it's really a fundraiser. We are encouraging everyone to come, and every cent that we make in profit and proceeds is going towards the Mary Care home. They are delighted to be partnering with us, and we are so happy that they have allowed us to come through for them.
Nice. So let's talk about production a little bit. How has preparation been going? Any standout moments in rehearsals or challenges that you would have faced thus far?
I'll speak on the side of the choir, and I'll let Asha speak on the side of the steel and the musicians. So our rehearsal process is usually like, I guess, any other production on a roller coaster. So there are usually points where people are like going through it, they're plodding through, and then there are these magical moments where things click. Like the song begins to make sense, or as we begin running through pieces, members of the choir start seeing connections. So therefore, because the concert is divided into 4 themes, when we ran the first half in a rehearsal, everyone was like, oh, now I'm understanding, the narration through the music. And I think one of the most powerful moments for me is when we start bringing the cast together. So therefore we bring all three arms of the Lydians together, and then it's even more magical when we bring in the collaborators, because Astra tends to, be the one leading the Lydian steel, and when we have the band, for certain pieces. So therefore for me, it's always a magical moment when we get to hear the creative concept come to life.
Nice.
Yes, and on our side, on Steel side, I think one of the things that I've really enjoyed, and not just from this concept, but from previous ones, we have a few in-house arrangers rather, and we are really encouraging young people, our young musicians, to spread their wings in our organization, to do their own original compositions and arrangements, and we have at least 2 or 3 of those featuring coming up in the concert. Some really special pieces from some, I won't say what because you need to come and find out, but some really special pieces that you might be able to recognize, that people might recognize from popular movies and so. And it's been a wonderful experience encouraging them, working with them, and having these still learn these new premiere pieces really that we are so happy to be able to offer for this occasion. So steel rehearsal is always invigorating, challenging, but ultimately rewarding, and we are happy to play things on our own as well as accompany the choir. We work with the senior choir, even the young people, the Chacobas as well, and then full pieces with the whole cast, where we really get to bring that excitement and energy.
So I know the Lydians are known for excellence, and I'm sure that this event is not going to be anything short of that. But what can you tell us? What's unique about this show compared to previous shows?
What's unique? I think for this show, the number of arrangements coming from within, I think, is pretty high. I'll definitely, as Asha said, like to take note of that. So we'll be having, to some extent, music that you would kind of only hear if you come to a Lydian show. So therefore, or reinterpretations or imaginations of local content, or even regular African American spirituals. So that it's not going to be special to this show, but it's special to the Lydians. So therefore, we have become known, for that deliberate approach to reinterpreting and reimagining music. Also, on top of that, we are constantly, building out the youth arm. So therefore, you're constantly seeing, the youth arm taking a step forward, taking another step forward. For this show, I'm very, very excited to also, to some extent, to have the show balanced in terms of all 3 arms having, let's say, almost an equal amount of time on stage. So therefore, there's an increased number of collaborative pieces with the entire cast. So therefore, if you come to this show and then you compare it to a Christmas show, you'll see that we are taking very deliberate steps to strengthening the overall organization. So therefore, it's going to be said within a few years that yes, the Lydians have indeed 3 separate arms, all good on their own, but even more powerful when we are together.
Right, I love that. So I know you would have mentioned, we've spoken about the event being, soul stirring and it will take you on a spiritual journey and so on. But is there a narrative, like a story that will unfold throughout the concert that the audience can expect? And can you tell us a little bit about it, if not revealing too much?
Yeah. Without revealing too much. So the concert is divided into 4 themes. I could give you the themes. It's meditation, songs for deliverance, songs of worship, and songs of thanksgiving. And they are going to be connected with narration in between each theme. And that, in addition to the text and the music itself, will take you on that journey.
Nice. What about original compositions? Can we expect any of those?
Definitely.
For this, yeah, you take it away, Astra. Bring it, bring the excitement.
Yeah,
Come on.
so not necessarily compositions, but as we said, arrangements. So we have at least two or three of them coming from a little known movie called The Prince of Egypt. If they might not, that might have passed under your radar at some point or over your radar, hopefully. But the songs, there are a few songs from that are very popular. And then we also have some traditional spirituals, I think, like Go Down Moses, and other ones that are normally known for being vocal pieces. So this is more from the steel side I'm speaking of. But we have turned them into wonderful steel band and instrumental arrangements that we think people will really enjoy. I believe there may also be some original arrangements from the choral side, Siobhan.
Indeed. So on the choral side, we have arrangements from Mr. John Jacob. I have a reinterpretation of old Baptist hymn called "Jesus, Love of My Soul." We also have Mr. Anton Williams bringing his reimagination of a song called Waloyo. And we also have Mark Anthony Peter, who is going to be presenting his reinterpretation of "He's Got the Whole World in His Hands," that has been arranged for children's voices.
Right. Oh my gosh. So we have a lot to expect coming up at the event. Let's get some information, so where can persons get tickets, location, time, all these things?
So tickets will be available at the Church of the Nativity in Crystal Stream. Right, you can also reach out to any Lydians member in order to make an order for a ticket. You can also reach out to us on social media in order to get a ticket. And there is also a hotline. Let me just open up my phone because we're doing the young people thing these days. So therefore, there's also a number you can call. Astra, can you just give further information while I just pull it up on my phone? My device is
Sure. So just to recap, of course, that this concert is called The Light Within, a spiritual celebration, and it's on the 27th of July. That's a Sunday at 6 p.m. It's at the Church of the Nativity and Crystal Stream in Digger Martin. The tickets are $250 in advance and $300 at the door. So don't worry if you didn't get your ticket before, you can come and pay at the door. Don't be shy. And as Siobhan was saying, there are several ways you can get tickets. One is directly from the church. You can also check out Lydian's members. You can check us out on social media. We are on Instagram. We are on Facebook. Just type in the Lydians TT. You should find us. And then there's the hotline number as well. Siobhan, you have it?
Yes, I do. So the two hotline numbers are, and I'll just give them slowly. You can reach out to Margaret at 628-9255, extension 1130. That's Margaret, 628-9255, extension 1130. Or you can reach out to Phaedra at 620-4717. Phaedra at 620-4717.
Nice. So, all right. So that was. Oh, how long does the event go until? Because I know, okay, you said 6 p.m. it starts. If persons reach late, they might want to know when does it finish.
Yeah, so it's approximately 2 hours long, exclusive of the 15-minute intermission. So therefore, it's going to be moving fast. So therefore, please get there on time. The Lydians is known for starting on time. So therefore, we are asking patrons to be seated, let's say 15 minutes before the event starts. So it gives you time to settle in, get that, because it's open seating. So therefore, the earlier you get there, you have more options with regards to where you want to be seated to get the best view or the best sound.
Nice, lovely. Well, thank you guys so much, Siobhan and Astra, for joining me on the program this morning and talking about this upcoming event that I think I can see it's going to be very beautiful. And I wish you guys all the best with your proceeds going towards the AmeriCare home in Woodbrook.
Thank you so much.
You.
Of course. Enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you.
You
Same
too.
to you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. All right, so just to reiterate the information, the event is called The Light Within, a Spiritual Celebration. It's an evening of uplifting music, reflection, and community, all in support of a worthy cause. The concert takes place at the Church of the Nativity in Diego Martin on Sunday, July 27th at 6 p.m. If you would like tickets, you can reach out to the Lydians on social media, Lydians TT, as well as at the church itself. That's the Church of the Nativity in Diego Martin. You can also reach out to any Lydians member directly. They also have a hotline, 628-9255, extension 1130, and that's for Margaret. Then 620-4717, and that's for Phaedra. All right, so get your tickets. Tickets are $250. The event starts at 6 p.m. for 2 hours, about there. So get your tickets, guys, and support the Lydians with this cause. If you know anything about the Lydians, you know it's going to be an exceptional event. So I'm 100% there. All right, so we're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, I think Jada is going to join me on the program, and we have some Feel Good Friday news for you guys. Stay with us, we'll be right back.
Oh, the center, you have to...
Okay. Thanks, guys, again.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you. In our latest episode, learn how Jameson CoQ10 can help support heart health, boost energy, and even reduce migraines. Get the science, the stories, and the steps to power up your health with CoQ10. Don't miss Wellness Unlocked. Watch now on WESN and start your wellness journey today.
Maybe he landed here totally by coincidence. But if by chance he's admiring your fresh coat of Benjamin Moore soft sky blue, well, that's a pretty high compliment. Coming from an expert.
Do you need treatment for obesity or any related abdominal procedures? The community hospital now offers minimally invasive laparoscopic surgery done by an American-trained, board-certified surgeon with over 20 years' experience. Give us a call at 235-5479 for more information.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
We are tackling the hard-hitting topics, some controversial topics, some topics we sweep under the rug.
You don't always have to forgive in a relationship for it to move forward.
If it is you are in a situation where you forgive the person, but to the detriment of yourself, what are you really doing?
It is very uncommon for somebody in the younger age group to have dementia.
Atheists don't not believe.
Is that I can't disprove God, but you also can't prove God. So we kind of at a stalemate.
We'll focus on the woman who's being the victim,
right,
or the man who's being the victim. We exclude the children.
Folks are trying to study the underlying brain mechanism
to figure out how does this particular disorder happen in the brain? How is the brain processing this?
Don't worry about AI, worry about humans working with AI.
Are you willing to learn new skills to stay relevant for the future job market? That's the challenge that people are going to struggle with.
Money is something we all deal with, but how many of us truly understand it? What if you could make better decisions with your money? Decisions that secure your future, protect your family, and bring you peace of mind. I'm Darren Jacobs, and I'm here to help you make sense of your dollars. Welcome to Dollars and Cents, the show that breaks down the financial world in ways that matter to you. No jargon, no confusion, just real conversations about money, your money. So join me every Wednesday at 10 a.m. on WESN for Dollars and Cents.
Pastor J, I want to get a tattoo.
You really
respond
want
to me. Respond to me.
you?
How you would respond to me?
The first question I'll ask is why.
Controversial taboo topics.
We get so consumed by church, we forget that we have to live the life of being a Christian outside of the Sunday.
Like you say,
services.
we think going to a service makes us a Christian.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
Right. So we are about to hear the second time Pastor J wanted to take a tattoo.
Would have been late last year and early this year.
Oh gosh.
Hope Unfiltered podcast with Pastor J and Ren.
You are watching Strictly Legal on WESN Content Capital. Just give an overview of what exactly is that split arrangement.
And it's, nah, you don't need to register nothing. You don't need, we can do that another time. But then it becomes a hit. And then everybody starts to want to claim.
The laws that predate many of the independent countries' constitutions are going to be those colonial laws.
We know there are an infinite amount of circumstances that would lead to a murder.
I have a great idea and I have a great concept, but until it's actually expressed, it does not become intellectual property.
Accomplishments or targets of a forensic accountant is to quantify what may have been lost.
They believe we defend criminals and we manipulated the law and we exploited the system.
A responsible journalist will reach out to the person who they have the information on for a comment.
So I am joined by my co-host, Jada McLeod. Hi, Jada.
Good morning, Naomi. Good morning to the guys in the back, and good morning to Trinidad and Tobago and our viewing audience. How are you doing this morning, Naomi?
I'm good. This morning, so we had a really nice interview with the Lydians.
Yes, I saw
their show, their upcoming show. Yeah, that was a nice little conversation. Yeah. But this Friday, I know Friday's theme is feel good. So
Yeah.
it's always nice to have these interviews on a Friday. Something positive, after a long week.
So I kind of like how after tragedy happened, it showed that community could kind of step up. And
Yes, as it should.
As they should, yes. As the cost for repairing the home was about at $3 million. That's a lot, a lot.
Yeah.
Cheddar, all the money that you're gonna need to put out, and the fact that community is seeing that and saying, well, I'm gonna use my talents to help. I'm gonna use my talents to give back. Then I think that's a great initiative. And the Lydians, they're known for stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it was good to see that they came on to talk about it.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so before we start with our Feel Good Fridays, it's just a mention. If you don't know, yesterday the Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, he arrived in Trinidad and Tobago, and for 2 days, this is to, I believe he's receiving an award one of Trinidad and Tobago's highest honors. So I think we have a video to play for that. You can play that now.
His first appearance on TTT's Now Morning Show, Minister of Foreign and CARICOM Affairs, Sean Sobers, shared that Indian Prime Minister Shri Narendra Modi's visit has already brought concretized initiatives and deliverables that will redound to the benefit of the citizenry.
So we've had some deliverables with respect to the Ministry of Agriculture, Land and Fisheries with the donation of a significant portion of rice and oil. There is also the agri-processing plant that was also announced that India is donating to Trinidad and Tobago.
In addition to the agro-processing plant, valued at over US $1 million, the health sector will also receive support from India.
Is in terms of health. A lot of the goods, the medicine actually, that we utilize within Trinidad and Tobago also comes from India. And there's going to be a significant positive shift in terms of those types of medication that we would be purchasing from India, which would go a very, very, very long way for a lot of people within this country.
Minister Sobers added that India also benefits from a synergistic relationship with Trinidad and Tobago.
We have a growing relationship with them as it pertains to some cultural exchanges. They benefit from a lot of that with respect to some exchange from persons of the diaspora going back to India and whatnot. We also purchase a lot of goods from India that is sold on our shelves here in our varying supermarkets throughout Trinidad and Tobago.
Prime Minister Modi is scheduled to attend a community diaspora event, an address to a joint assembly of the Parliament, an exchange of memoranda of understanding, and a tree planting ceremony. Stacia Yoward.
Yeah, so as you would have heard, Narendra Modi, he has a great relationship with Trinidad and Tobago as well as we do with India. So this award, it has come as not really much of a surprise to most people. And the award, I know I had to fact check that, but the Order of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago.
Yeah, it is the highest award in Trinidad and Tobago that you can receive. It's for outstanding and distinguished service to the country. Some people have received this in the past. I think it was to replace the Trinity Cross in 2008. So it's one of those awards where when you get it, you're like, you feel a bit, right?
Yeah.
Many other countries have bestowed this honor similar to what it means in their country, including many other Caribbean countries, in Guyana, I believe Jamaica as well. I'd have to fact check that one. So we're just joining multiple countries that are doing that right now. And I mean, Prime Minister Modi has done a lot for India, and of course he has invested a lot in foreign.
Yes. Yeah, I saw here there was an article, and he said, I will meet President Christine Carla Kangaloo, who is your chief guest at this year's Pravasi Bhatia Divas. I hope I pronounced that correct. So she did, that is true. She went to that she was some honorable guest.
Yes, she was.
Right. That is the day which commemorates the return of Mahatma Gandhi from South Africa to Bombay on January 9th, 1915. So that's interesting, Yeah, so he has, I see here, he has some events that he will be participating in while he's here over the next 2 days. And then it's a big deal as well because yesterday when he arrived, they literally blocked off the entire highway for him passing.
Mm-hmm.
And the amount of police, which they did say there would be a ramping up of police on the roads. There'll be a few roadblocks as well, especially today in the Port of Spain, downtown Port of Spain area. Certain streets like Abercrombie Street, St. Vincent Street, Chancery Lane, around Independence Square. So, you know, be careful on the road today and be very aware of, you know, signages, no parking, no way.
Yeah, something I found I was very interested, and it kind of has nothing to do more so about us blocking off the roads, because it's back to that. He's a dignitary of one of the richest and most, one of the hugest countries, but if not the biggest country in the world.
Yeah.
But his private plane, it costs 980 million US dollars. When I saw that, I was like, wow. And it's to carry almost all of the dignitaries, yes?
Yeah.
And that's not, if you're spending 900, if you're spending $1 billion on a plane, come on, right? The whole country has to be able to fit on that plane. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no, really, you saw the size of the plane, right? And I think this was something that we were very excited about, especially, you know, in Piaco, witnessing this massive private jet, you know, landing. I think that was one of the highlights for a lot of the spectators and the ministers and everybody who was there to welcome him.
So I'm glad that we are able to strengthen our bilateral relationship with India. It's one of our strongest relationships. They've done a lot for us, and in turn we have had a lot of cultural exchanges with them.
Yes.
So I'm glad that we were able to do something like this, and I don't think it brought that much harm to the country. I know
there was some concerns with the Muslim community. I was reading a little bit on that. With some, I didn't get much information on it, but I know they were concerned, and I saw they were writing. Let me get the exact community actually. I don't know, ASJA Astra. That's, I'm not even going to say what it is. I'll try. The Anjuman Sunat Ul Jamaat Association.
I think you did well.
Yeah. So they would have sent formal letters of concern to the office of the Prime Minister about Modi's arrival, and that's in a response to a question. Let me see, the association said it has a deep and principled concern over the government's decision to officially welcome a leader with what it called a widely criticized human rights record.
So, he is of the Hindu faith, and I believe he made certain remarks that may have been not taken so well within the Muslim community. And the Muslim community may not have the best relationship with him, because he hasn't had the best track record with them either in his own country and around the world. So, I mean, he is a bit controversial in that regard.
I
don't want to sweep over it, but he has done a lot for India and has done a lot for
the country as well. Yeah, and I think too, you know, the Muslim community in Trinidad and Tobago, they can't just say because Mr. Modi has an issue with the community or has said things in the past about the Muslim community globally, that he's not welcomed in Trinidad and Tobago. The Muslim community is not the only community in Trinidad and Tobago, you know. And again, not to just disregard their concerns, but I think we have to look at the bigger picture.
Yeah, I mean, definitely. I completely agree with you on that one there. I think, at the end of the day, he's a dignitary, again, of one of the biggest country, if not, and I'm not too sure, China and India always going head to head with the largest population. But he is a dignitary of one of the biggest countries in the world. He has done a lot for the country. He's receiving the highest award. He's received the highest award of many other countries because he's a boss when it comes to foreign policy. He helps out a lot of smaller countries. So, in that regard, he does deserve his respect and the honor that we are attempting to bestow upon him at this point. I do understand their concerns. It's not great to know that your country is celebrating someone who doesn't like you and your brethren. Doesn't like you, right? And it's a free country. We are a democracy. You could say it again once and not get arrested, right?
Exactly. Exactly.
So, I respect them for voicing their concerns, but it was never going to have that much of an impact because as you would have seen all of the pictures from even before Mrs. Prasad Bisasa, the Honorable Mrs. Prasad Bisasa, came into power this year. She's had a long-standing relationship with Prime Minister Modi. So
Yes.
it makes sense. It does make sense.
Yeah. All right. So I know you had some. We can move on. Some good news.
Hi there.
Yeah, I think Jada looks forward to this all week.
You know, and I'll actually be very honest here. Sometimes it's difficult to find stories to highlight for Friday because I feel like a lot, and I know I always harp on this, but there's a lot of bad news out there. A lot of stuff that's just sensationalized. I mean, even we would know this. We were in school for journalism. Sometimes when we're taught to not to sensationalize news, but we know how to make it come across as readable. We want reader engagement or listener engagement. Sometimes you have to harp on the negative or highlight the negative to get people's responses, and it's not the greatest fact of life, but it works and it sells. But sometimes people need to hear or get the balance with the good news. So I think I try my hardest every single week to find some good stories.
Yeah, I know it's hard, and then we ask for the viewers to also recommend stories. If you personally have any good news or know of someone who has done something good this during the course of the week or recently, share it with us. It would be interesting to highlight as well.
All right, so this first video is called Christmas in July. So every now and then a story comes along that reminds us of the deep goodness still alive in our communities, and that's why I really like the fact that we had the Lydians directors on to tell us about what they're doing in the midst of tragedy. So today's speech is about, or one of today's speeches is about a brave little girl in the US who's battling cancer, and the extraordinary kindness of her neighbors who came together to give her a Christmas that she may not live to see this December. So they had twinkling lights, fake snow, even somebody dressed up as Santa himself, and it was a sweet gesture to this little girl. She was overjoyed with appreciation. So just take a look at this video for more.
Oh my gosh, it looks so good! It began as most Christmas wishes do, with a letter.
This community has been incredibly supportive of our family over the last 4 years.
Alyssa and Joe Zachman writing not to Santa, but their Maryland neighbors about their 9-year-old daughter Casey wanting to celebrate Christmas on June 28th, the date she was diagnosed with brain cancer 4 years ago.
This week will be incredibly hot and not the best climate for putting up lights, but we aren't sure how much time we have.
With just days to prepare, Santa's helpers went straight to their workshops.
All of the neighbors were out there just sweating as we hung Christmas lights.
Merry Christmas!
Thank you so much! She ran like she hasn't ran in years, and she wanted to be right in the middle of it.
More than 24 fire trucks and hundreds of homes decorated just for her. Oh my gosh, Case, look on the roof!
June 28th for us has been Diagnosis Day, has been a heavy day. For us to now be able to think about June 28th as Christmas in June, especially next year, we're so thankful.
A priceless gift from the community that made Christmas come early. Priscilla Thompson.
Yeah, so that was so nice. That was beautiful. And you know what makes it even better? Just the fact that it was Christmas, like Christmas is one of the happiest times of the year. Anybody can fight me on this. I don't care. I absolutely love Christmas because just something about that time of year and seeing, the lights and just there's something in the air that it feels positive and feels happy, and it's completely different. I can't explain it, but Christmas season just feels different from any other time of the year. And, just watching this, I can see that they got it on point. They embodied the season itself, not just by the actions and what they did for her, but the way they executed it was done really, really nice.
Yeah, I mean, community, right? The power of community. What I really liked in the video is the way, because obviously going through something like this, it drains your energy. And she's so small. She's so young.
Yeah, she's adorable.
Dolly, yeah. But as the parents would have said, this is the happiest they've seen her in such a long time. And the fact that she would have mustered the energy to see Santa and run out to him.
Yeah.
Santa run out to him. I found that was that said something to me, because you're telling me that she's overjoyed. You're telling me that this is something that she's not used to. This means something to her, and I hope that she is able to live a long life. But if that's not medically possible,
then she has this little pocket of
I think that just
and I think to it would help the family as well as the community when, you know, if she does not make it, this is a positive memory for them of her as well, you know. So that's, I mean, it is bittersweet, of course, but looking on the bright side, it is something good for that benefits both her and the community as well as her parents.
I mean, especially parents in that position, that can't be easy. That can't be easy. I mean, I've probably only met one or two people in my life who's actually suffered with cancer, and I know that on the family it isn't that to go through something like that. And maybe not to harp on this, because I know this may be sensitive to some, but I can't imagine the pain. I can't imagine what it is that you go through, and the fact that the Airlink community came together to support not just the, as you would have said, not just the little girl, but the parents. Parents look like they were on the verge of tears, actually, in the interview that we saw, you know.
Yeah, it's never easy to see, especially a young child with a disease like this, that, you know, she barely even lived. That's the whole point of it, you know.
I kind of hope she does though, and I know I'm sticking on this a lot, but it's just so. It's just young children going through a disease or illness or anything like that. They just don't deserve it. Nobody does. But as a child, come on, man.
Well, you know what you have to do, Jades? You have to keep us in the loop with this story, probably follow up on it, and then we'll...
Yeah, I was looking for an update. In fact, if you see me looking what's on the side, I'm trying to find something that one of the comments, I believe, but I don't think I'm able to find that right now for you, but I will continue to try.
You could always come back to it later on, if anything.
For sure. So, I mean, moving along, we had another story that I wanted to highlight. It's from this site that I call The Spark. It's called The Spark, Reasons to be Cheerful. So there's a community in Sacramento in the U.S. that is very hot right now. And the reason why I related to it is because Trinidad is disgustingly hot sometimes. Not sometimes, all the time. And
not all the time. Let's be fair.
One of the months I get hot quickly. Quickly. Menopause or something, I get hot quickly. So it was about how they're keeping the community cool. Right. So what the neighbors would have done was to set out a cooler. One of the coolers, called it a cooling station. And when he realized people were getting dehydrated a lot, he would just set it out and people would come, pick up a water, go about the way, pick up 2 waters, go about the way. And he just did that for a couple of days, and then he realized more people were doing it. So in no time, what was happening was that many other people, 20 neighbors, would come out, and in front of every house there used to be a cooling station with water, drinks, any ice, anything that you could think of. So it was just about keeping that kind of community, and then foster people to come together and do that kind of meeting points. They can meet by Mr. Brown, and everybody sit down, they have a water or a drink in their hand and they're talking, and they're connecting. And I know specifically in the US, it's an individualistic society. A lot of the time, community isn't prioritized. So them doing something like this, I thought was heartwarming, because it started from one person, and that's all it takes. 1%.
Very true. And I love that so much because, you know, it will foster community engagement and getting to know your neighbors and just, it's such an innovative way to just
it's also simple.
Build your community.
Yeah. It sounds so simple, but it actually spiraled into something more where it kind of became like a giveaway thing too. So if you had like an old air conditioner, an old fan, and there was a family in need, they put it out in your front lawn and front yard, and someone was able to take it and someone was able to benefit from that, and then somebody else would come and install it for you. So that community was amazing. They also instituted a buddy system for vulnerable folks. So if it was like an elderly person, again, it's really, really hot in the US, in Sacramento, in the US, as it is really, really hot in Trinidad sometimes. So I wanted to highlight a story because I was thinking, what if we can do something like that here in Trinidad?
Yeah. Well, I was gonna my thought process was, I was gonna ask you, do you think that this is something that could happen in Trinidad and Tobago? I mean, I don't know if I could see it based on, you know, just how our communities are. Sometimes maybe, but the community will definitely have to be not necessarily small, but close. Well, no, let's not stereotype. Let's just keep it, you know. But you get you could understand, right? I can't see it being a thing like people will take advantage. Trinis will take advantage.
I think even with them as well in Sacramento, people were taking advantage as well.
It will always have that little group.
But so long as there's people that's willing to be honest, I think, I mean, it's a good initiative. I don't think we should shy away from it because they're disgusting people. People things out there. I think it could work, you know. I don't know how much for a cooler though. How much is
No, because just imagine you put out a cooler with some ice, some drinks, and somebody run off with the cooler. Like, that's the kind of things that people do. You know, somebody just takes the entire cooler and go.
Yeah. It'll be an interesting story though. So somebody stealing coolers. I actually heard that there was a story a while ago where somebody stole, I can't remember what it was, but it was some little children. They were doing some kind of bake sale or something, and somebody came and just stole their supplies. But why do people do stuff like that? But I mean, we're here now, we're talking about the good things that are happening. It is, again, a reason to be cheerful. It's a community-based project, and today is all about how community can help each other, how community can come together and give other people a reason to be cheerful. What would have happened is because of that one cooler that one neighbor left out, now there's like a network of people doing it across neighborhoods, in the neighborhoods in the US. So,
and it's definitely not the first time, you know, seeing or hearing about something like this in a neighborhood in the US. I also saw recently there was another one, and this one I saw from TikTok, and a woman, she just she would bake bread and different types of pastries and sweets, cookies, brownies, anything like that, and she would leave it out in her front lawn with, you know, some brown bags and, you know, just so you can dish out for yourself. And I absolutely love that. Like, I forgot what she called it. She had a little name for it. But she would do this every single day. So people can just walk by or drive by and stop and just help themselves to something to eat from her little station. And you know, she like, while she spoke about it, I'll try to find that video so maybe we can play it next week, Friday. But she spoke about you know, people who took advantage of it and people who would pass by and take her entire basket, you know, or take the entire take everything basically and leave nothing for anybody else, you know. And she had to now become very innovative and come up with ways to prevent that from happening and allow it to be shared amongst everybody, or a good amount of people at least, you know. And people started looking forward to this and seeing this happening. And
I think it's honestly a beautiful initiative that people all over the world are taking, you know, in whatever ways they can. Whether it's you can bake cupcakes, if you can just
and just like allow people to, you know, similarly, you know, there's one with a young girl. I believe it was a young girl, and she set up a mini like library where people can pass and just take books. I also saw somebody did that locally too.
Yeah.
I believe it was called, I don't want to butcher it, Tales and Trails. We actually had them on the program some time ago. But yeah, it was the same concept. You know, they set up this little nook of books where persons can, it could be any type of books, you know, fictional, storybooks, school books, textbooks, things like that. And you can just go and see if there's anything that you're interested in to take. You know, but again, there's a handful of people that will take advantage of it or vandalize it or, you know, take all the books. Like, come on.
Yeah, I mean, it happens, but you persevere through that. I mean, as you brought up the book thing, there's a restaurant that's doing it. I'm beating my mind trying to remember the name of it, but it's in Tunapuna. And I went there once or twice, and you can go, you can leave a book, and you can go, and you just take one. You don't ask anybody. This is a little bookshelf. You go, you take one, you read it, you put it back, or you can take it and carry it home, and it's yours.
Yeah.
I got what for me is I love John Green books. He's an author. They have like a whole collection of his books. I only took one. Okay. I get back and I dropped one as well because, you know, it's a give and take. But I was one of my most cherished books now. You know, being as this is, it's not just in water; it extends to other things as well. And thank you for giving me that perspective because I've participated in that before. So it's from that perspective. So as I'm reading here, there's over 42 pop-up cooling stations operating in the city because of that one.
Wow. I love how people could, you know, adapt. And, you know, you witness something good, somebody doing something good, and you take it upon yourself to follow suit. And it's not a case where, oh, you're following me, or you're copying me. You know, it's like community. We're coming together, and you are doing it. Let me see how I can be a part of this. You know, I'm not taking your idea, but I'm joining you in supporting our community. You know, and that's how you look at it.
Exactly. And I'm just bringing up part of the story here. Because that area of the town, there's a lot of foot traffic, commuters, people who are unhoused. So, I mean, I can imagine how wonderful that would be for them as well, because they're not accustomed to consistent food and water. So having that supply that they know that they could always go to, they just need to go to Miss Ann's yard or John's yard, Yomi's yard or something like that.
Yes. Imagine, you know, each cooling station being something different. So like you have one house with water, one house with juices, fresh juices, and then, you know, one house with like lollies, you know, iced snacks.
That'd be my favorite house.
Yeah, that would be so cool. I mean, and if we do something like that in Trinidad, we'll have like these sucker bags. Like those are things that people would absolutely love. And it's cost effective as well. So
if they're able to, and why not? And I mean, I speak for myself there. That's something that I could probably look into doing. Because if it's what I want me, I love a soccer bag. I make soccer bags all the time.
Yes.
But yeah, so people are unhoused, joggers. Imagine you getting an exercise in, and you could stop by Miss Andy, pick up a water and go away.
Yeah.
Amazing. If you forget your water home, that's something I do all the time when I go to exercise. I forget water. Then I have to go and spend $10 to go and get a big bottle of water. How all the time. Imagine they could just run, pick up a water, go.
Yeah.
It bosses the community. So the guy who started it, he goes by what his name is, his last name mentioned in the article is Robustelli, maybe Italian American. He's received so many handwritten notes just saying thank you, because a lot of people, if it's for a lot of people, it's their only source of like hydration for the So he says there's no barriers to people using it. So it's truly amazing thing to meet people where they're at. It's a non-judgmental way to build community with everyone, especially as the heat cranks up around this time and climate change. And of course, it's just so hot.
Yeah.
It's out to get us these days.
I know. It's crazy that we are in the rainy season or the hurricane season, and there are days where the sun is just scorching.
Ridiculous.
Yeah. Scorching.
Mm-hmm. So, and the story that I would have come across is this one was really, really heartwarming, but in a different way. It takes on, and then goes into a lot of different talking points that I wish we really talk about here now. It's how strawberry farming took over 60% of a Kashmir village. So, and it also empowered women while doing it. So women who didn't have access to almost any economic property and were only told, well, go and get married. Go and get married, and that's how you make money. That's how you have a family. No. They've taken up strawberry farming, and they've built lives for themselves, communities for themselves, empires for themselves. So I don't have a video here to show you. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to find one. But as you would have seen there, the production was just showing some pictures up on the screen. I don't know if we could keep those pictures rolling, because I think it's a great thing to mind to the story pictures of the story that we're seeing. So it's a gasu field in India where they used to farm a lot of rice, but they moved to strawberries. So women who once stayed behind walls, they didn't want to claim space. That's how women are supposed to be, right? To the background. Now they're earning an income for themselves and their family, and giving jobs to their daughters, giving jobs to their nieces, and showing them how you can have an economic. You can be a woman, and you can be a wife, and you can be a daughter, whatever, but still have economic stability for yourself. You are entitled to that as well. And I found that was an amazing story. So one of the ladies, I believe the lady that you're seeing there, her name is, I don't want to butcher this, Kusuma is her name. They didn't give last names in the story, and not rightfully so. But a lot of their stories are that they were married off young, or when they got married, it's not that they don't love their husbands or their families, but it's just their culture. They got married off young, and they weren't as educated as they could have been. And they was, on some of them even said it, I didn't think that this was for me, being able to grow my own produce, feed my family, go out to the market, sell, So it went from being non-existent almost for some of them in their fields to now being 60% of what they plant and what they sell. And I found that was amazing, because it only grew in a couple of years, and were able to take care of themselves and their families. I think it's 15 years ago. Yeah, everything changed with it, and for the woman it was life-changing. Sorry, go ahead.
No. It just, when you think of agriculture and, how these women were able to take something that is so, it's so real, and agriculture is something that we talk about often, like we need to start supplying our own foods and getting into this, because how much the world is changing, and I think it's an amazing thing that these women were able to learn and then take that skill and better their life,
So what they used to do was there used to be rice fields, but then water got scarce, and the men who were planting, they didn't know what to do.
Yeah.
And one day they said they needed a resource, a crop that was easy to farm, didn't require that many resources, and they found a way to adapt to the climate change that destroyed their rice fields, and people grow strawberries. And it was like, okay, we'll grow strawberries now. I don't want to grow strawberries. Women came out. They said, well, I'm seeing my family go out to do it every single day. While I was one of the ladies' stories, she saw her family going out to do it every day. And they were working, they were toiling really hard, and when they came back, they were smiling.
Yeah, and that's interesting, because as I thought strawberries can only grow in certain climates, and India being, hot. That was interesting. I didn't think that strawberries would be something that could grow in India.
It apparently is. It apparently is. Today, over 60% of Gasu's people grow strawberries, and nearly half of them are women. Women who spend their days behind closed doors now manage fields, earn money, and make decisions.
Yeah.
The men began up with confidence, but with necessity.
Yes, I was gonna say that, like it would, not only are they gaining an income now and bettering their life, but they would have gained an extreme amount of confidence.
Exactly.
Just in their, as you said, they would have been married off young, and having to, become a parent and from a young age and all these things. So doing this now would have given them some sort of, I think it's safe to say, like, womanhood, that they're able to make their own money and do things for themselves and not depend on anybody else, and really provide, for themselves, for their family, for their community, and etc. So
I like to use the word womanhood, because sometimes I think we fall victim, and we and I've had many conversations about independence, or the whole sense of independence. Independence is important, it's a necessity, but it's important to remember that you live in a community as well, and you have to participate in community, you have to participate in society. So one of the ladies, Taslima, she said it has been more than a decade now, standing in the field that she once ignored. They grow strawberries on 2 canals of land. She said her husband can't manage it alone, so she does the farming, she runs the house, everything.
Wow,
I love
that is womanhood. That is womanhood. Yeah, and it's so nice, because women can do anything, and I don't want to say, like, we're not being biased. It's just you see it in a lot of different things. You see it in your own personal lives, with the women in your family, your mom, your grandmother, your aunts, like how much they do and the role that they play, so that, I love that.
They push out 400 boxes every season. This is a small town, not even town, village. 400 boxes every season.
If it's one thing, people in agriculture work so hard. So hard, there's where is this? There's a field, and I'm close to where one of my friends live, and every couple months, the owner, he discards of his old crop. So I guess once he harvests, whatever it is, he plants it for that season. When it's over, he I don't know what's the correct term to use, but like he repurposes the land. So he would do whatever digging up he has to do and get the soil ready to plant something new. And it will always be something new. And this is right here in Trinidad. Like at one point it would be, excuse me, at one point it would be, what do you call this? Like bygone, eggplant, right? And he would have that for a season, for however many months, let it grow, harvest it, sell it, and then repurpose the land, prepare the soil, and then he would plant lettuce, right? Let that do its thing, whatever. And then he would plant. There was a time I saw corn on a field, right? Corn, and then there was another time it had oh gosh, what was this? This was avocado. No, I haven't seen avocado in a field. It was something else. But you get the point, right? Like it's always something different, and he repurposes the land for, I guess, certain things will grow certain times of the year. It will have its season, right? And it would seem like he takes advantage of that, and this is his livelihood,
Understands true sustainability.
Yes, yeah, and I don't know if this is a normal thing amongst farmers or amongst people who work in agriculture, but this is one instance where I've noticed it firsthand. Ever so often you come and you see, the field just constantly changing, and I think it's so beautiful, and it's always well kept. And you can see him, and it's him alone. Usually it's him alone. Sometimes you might see one or two other people on the field working, but he's always there, just, checking on his crops, his fruits, whatever it is, and it's, yeah.
So I think really nice. A nice place for us to end would be something that Taslima would have said. She said, "This land is my pride. I treat it like my own child. This land is my pride, and I treat it like my own child." And that just not only talks about this story with the Gasu Indian women using strawberry cropping, strawberry farming to fund their livelihoods and the livelihoods of their families, but also the land, the neighborhood, the community, that is yours. You treat it like it's your own child. You take care of each other like children. That's your community. This is your stomping ground.
You take care of it, and it takes care of you. Somebody said that recently. We had on the program, and she said, if you take care of the environment will take care of you.
That was one of the. I remember that interview. Very nice interview as well. One thing I did want to say, I want us to have a conversation about community sometime, because a lot of the time, as a Gen Z thing to think, gosh, I have to protect myself, I have to protect my peace, but community comes at a price of sometimes inconvenience. You still have to show up for each other, even when you don't want to feel on it. So I think that's a conversation that we can have, because I feel like many Gen Z youth are only now realizing that sometimes community is inconvenience, but if you want community to show up for you when you need it, you have to show up for community. So I think that is something that we can also dive into the mindset behind that.
I also see here another mention, and this can fall under good news, because we can hope for the best, but concerning SEA results that would have been released yesterday online. So to all our SEA students who would have worked so extremely hard, the months prior, and then to sit the exam was what, in May? No.
Yeah.
In May?
Yeah.
Yeah. So I know everybody, and if you can remember your own experience with SEA and results, when results were released, I honestly vividly remember the day when we went into school, because people would have been checking online before, so but when you go to school and you get your actual certificates, and then you have all the cameras and the news personnel out. I remember I got interviewed and it's so funny, like even up to this day I still go back to it, because you can still find the footage online, right? Me in my little school uniform, and then the reporter is asking me, how do you feel about my results, and just like about my emotions and everything. And I remember I was so nervous, and in the video it was embarrassing. I'll leave it at that. It was so embarrassing and awkward. But that was like one of my first experiences in front of a camera on TV. I was like, no way.
Exactly. Maybe I had a very similar experience. I want to talk about it because unfortunately my interview wasn't aired, but I'm so glad it wasn't because I embarrassed myself so tremendously.
Yeah.
I think I remember the reporter was Alicia Boucher, actually. And she would have asked me, so what do you hope to do over the vacation? Now, when I was like 10, of whatever age I started SCA, I was convinced I was the next Beyonce, okay? I thought I was going to become this huge singing celebrity. So I was like, I'm going to focus on my singing career. Some stupidness like that, some youthful stupidness that I would have said. And she found it funny, she was laughing, whatever. But I was like, I look back at that interview. You know, sometimes when you cringe in your head in the night, you think about something you said. That is one of the things that consistently comes to my mind when I'm cringing at night. That experience actually sparked my desire to be in media.
Yes.
Yeah. I was also reminded about that with one of my aunts the other day. She said, do you know when you were really, really young, like 6 years old, you used to say that you wanted to be in media, you wanted to tell stories. And I was like, really? I can't remember that. But she reminded me of that. So I just realized as we were speaking how that has always been woven into my life.
Yeah.
And the power of community, how community showed up and reminded me of that. And that was nice.
Oh wow, yes. There's always that, one thing that would have happened to you that would have planted some sort of seed in you to, fulfill your purpose, your destiny, or, whatever you're meant to be when you grow up. So that's very inspiring, and especially in a time like this, So just to go back to the SEA results, which were released online, or became available online from 11 p.m. last night, and the results can be accessed and downloaded at searesults.moe.gov.tt.
searesults.moe.gov.tt.
Yeah, SEA results, no spaces, SEA results.moe.gov.tt.
All right.
Yeah, so y'all could and we'll see, throughout the day. This is one of the most exciting days for these SEA students, and now they can, sigh a relief and move on to the next chapter of their life.
We wish you the best. We wish you to get the results that you would want to see, and even if you didn't get the results you wanted,
it's not the end. It's something we always have to. It's not the end, and you can still take advantage and do well in whatever school you got placed in or you got into. So
maybe that could be our course of the day. It's not what you were given, it's what you do with what you were given. Important. I had another quote ready, but I like that one better. So for my SCA students, it's not what you were given, but it's what you do with what you were given. Remember that.
Yeah, and seize the moment.
Yeah, seize. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. So I think that wraps up today's show. Yeah.
Yeah. So much.
So you can.
As a matter of sitting in Zaire Prime, I mean, you can always engage with us at any point in time. We're there. We're ready. We're square. Ready to engage with you, talk with you, leave your suggestions at WESN-TV on Facebook, WESN-CC, WESN-CC on Instagram as well. You can engage with Naomi and I on our Instagrams as well at Naomi McNish and I am Gina McLeod. Or you can WhatsApp us at 682-9376, 682-9376. And we will be there, ready to take on your suggestions.
Yeah, thanks so much. All right, so guys, stay safe. Stay inspired, stay informed, and stay tuned for Sean Michael Small with Talking Point on the hour 8 o'clock. Thanks for joining us this morning. I will see you back here again on Monday.
Monday morning.
WESN.
Hi,
I'm Claudette, radiographer at the radiology departments at the community hospital. We offer high-quality service with state-of-the-art equipment in X-ray, ultrasound, CT, and mammogram. Come, our friendly staff awaits you.
Give us a call at 235-5479.
The Community Hospital of Seventh-day Adventist,
where good private health care is affordable.
Low energy? Heart concerns? Migraines slowing you down? It's time to take control of your health. Join Wellness Unlocked, the series that brings expert advice and real solutions for a healthier you.